Hey there, Bronco fans. It's Danny and Chad from the Man Cave. We're mixing it up a little this week. Want to welcome you to this week's show.
We kind of wanted to be in a cave after that Bronco game, but it shouldn't be a real big surprise. Danny, certainly, I know you weren't surprised. We talked a lot before the game.
Yep.
Quick thoughts real quick before we get into a deep breakdown of the game.
Well, I don't think anybody out there with half a brain, Chad, really had a thought we had a chance at winning this thing. A lot of folks out there, and I was kind of one of them there for a little while. It was my silent side. Not something that I would broadcast to the world, but I was just kind of hoping that we weren't going to get embarrassed. And, well, wish wasn't exactly granted.
49-23 later, it was a little bit of an embarrassment, yes. Yeah, here's my two thoughts on it. We've been following the bloggers all day long. Hey, if you live in Seattle, you can't complain if it rains. If you live in Phoenix, you can't complain that it's hot. When the Broncos are going up against the Packers, the Super Bowl champions, you got to expect that thing, so you can't really complain about it. I was a little bit surprised on how angry people got. It looked like it was an L from the beginning of the season, and it was definitely an L today. Let's break it down, Danny. What do you think?
Well, honestly, the biggest disappointment for me was the defense not showing up, Shad, and I think it may have had a little bit of false, luring you into a false sense of security last week with the Titans. I really expected Denver's defense to do a little bit better this week, but it was quite obvious how badly Champ Bailey needs to be back on the field for the Broncos.
Yeah, I thought a good job. Elvis Dumerville in the line, getting a lot of pressure in there, but defensive backs across the boards got scorched. 509 yards given up by the Denver Bronco defense.
What?
That's not what we needed. No.
So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Well, not everything on Sunday was a complete disaster, Shad. Let's touch on some of the good things.
Hey, finally, the Denver defense gets their first 2 interceptions of the year.
Big deal.
Got one by Will Hite, one by Raheem Moore.
And going into this game, I believe the Broncos were just one of 2 teams that had not yet put an INT into their statistical column all year. That's a big deal.
That's real big.
What else for you?
It's that big. You know what else I was excited? Von Miller.
I knew you were going to go that way.
2 more sacks. That's 4 for the year. I'm not really good at math. 4 times 4 by the end of the season. 16 sacks for Von Miller.
Well, and the other nice thing is all the pressure that he did put on Aaron Rodgers. Not that it made much difference with the 6 touchdowns he put up against us, but I think definitely that is one of the biggest bright spots of the game. A guy like Von Miller, his speed is obviously just speed kills. Whoever coined that phrase was right. There towards the second half, you actually saw some double teaming going on Von just to try to slow him down.
Love me some Von Miller. Now let's flip over to the offensive side. Who were some of the superstars?
Well, we're kind of, where last year that every game we were talking about Brandon Lloyd, although Brandon did have a pretty big day today with 136 yards, but Eric Decker, once again, finding pay dirt twice. The kid just keeps delivering on everything.
Oh, that pass that Orton threw, it rotates around, the other way back around, touchdown. Eric Decker's the real deal. I mean, that's, I don't know, four receptions for touchdowns this year, plus the punt return. Eric Decker, #1 in my book, baby.
Yeah, I tell you, another shocker, but also quite pleasantly surprising was Willis McGahee going over 100 yards rushing again.
No touchdown there. McGahee was solid, had some good yards, so kudos to the lineman who did a good job establishing, I thought, a pretty decent run game. I think it's the first 100-yard game that the Packers have given up this year.
Right,
so
that's true.
McGahee, nice job, had a reception or 2 as well. No Sean Moreno, not as productive. I think 11 total yards. No, Sean, thanks for the contribution.
Yeah, thanks for showing up at least. And at least he made it through the game without getting hurt.
We think.
Exactly. That's pure conjecture on my part. Well, we've touched on a few good points, Shad. Now let's take a minute and look at some of the things that weren't so good.
Well, all the major networks, Danny, have some kind of way to work out the plays.
Right?
So I've been able to bring out this Etch-a-Sketch.
It's our version of a telestrator.
And all they really needed to do against that Denver defense today is just do what I'm doing here. It's just a straight line right up the middle all day long. It seemed like our safeties didn't seem like our safeties had a terrible game.
Yeah.
Our defensive backs as a whole had a terrible game. Boy, do we miss Champ Bailey. So an F- for the defensive backs in this game.
Shad, I think for me, the biggest disappointment of the day is the fact that we actually actually had to play this game against Green Bay. I don't know how the heck a team like the Broncos, being the second worst in the league last year, actually had to come up against the Super Bowl champs. But we don't make the schedules. We understand how divisions play divisions, and it's unfortunate for Denver. But I think what this thing really did show us is what exactly we have to work on and work with. And we've got more holes, I think, than even I thought we had.
Yeah, sometimes you get done with a game, those close games we've had, and you think, hey, we're almost there. It feels right there. Then you take a Super Bowl champion, and you see that difference, that gap, and it was a big gap.
Yeah, it's a huge
gap. We've got a long ways to go, but you know, speaking of long ways to go, the Broncos are still nowhere closer on getting Tebow some action. Doesn't matter what the fans do. You get thanks for the billboard, all that good stuff. Guess what? It's not really resonating with John Fox and the gang there. Tebow comes in, and I'm going to just tell you guys play by play how this happened. Here comes Tebow. Dan goes, oh, Tebow's in the shotgun shed, and then here we go. I bet she's going to run it up the middle. Danny's right up the middle, -1 yards, and then Tebow runs off. Even less effective than it was in the being a receiver. So Broncos are having no part of Tim Tebow, and they don't even want to address it.
Yeah, and that play call by me from Tim Tebow isn't because I'm super you know.
You are a super predictor.
I'm a savant of football. Yeah, I'm clairvoyant. I can predict. But let's be honest. Nobody west of the Mississippi thought that play was going to be anything other than what it was. And I don't know why. You know, we do know that Mike McCoy calls these plays. I do like the fact that we ran a flea flicker. Yeah. You know, I like the fact that they brought Tebow in. Was that a token middle finger to the
it was almost like it was in your face. It was like we're doing this to rub it in your face. I mean,
or to appease you. Now shut up about it. You know, it's one of those things. Kind of a bit of a head scratcher. The other thing, obviously, you know, last week we were down on Mike McCoy pretty bad about the play calling and the ability to stretch the field. It's actually kind of nice to see a little bit of variance in that. You know, a flea flicker. When's the last time you saw a flea flicker?
It's been a long time. I think Vance Johnson might have been playing last time I saw a flea flicker that I can remember.
You know, the one thing that this year's Bronco team has really done to all of us as fans is divide us. You know, and it's not just the Orton fans and the Tebow fans, but it's mostly that. And it's kind of funny how a division of two quarterbacks, that division actually widens into a lot other categories within the Denver Broncos. Oh, look at this.
The real reason we lost today.
Kyle Orton.
The only logical reason that Champ Bailey didn't play against the Packers.
Kyle Orton.
The reason Mike Tyson converted to Islam.
Kyle Orton.
The real reason the Denver Broncos gave up 49 points against the Packers.
Kyle Orton.
The reason that Matt Prater was arrested with a liquored up stripper.
No, that's unacceptable. Hey, hold 1 minute. Kyle Orton.
The reason why Andy Rooney left 60 Minutes.
Well, must be true. All the blogs are saying Kyle Orton.
And the biggest reason why there's a quarterback controversy in Denver.
Who else? Kyle Orton.
And you see, folks, that's the kind of stuff that we're reduced to when you have a losing ball club.
I know, it gets old, but everybody's going to blame the quarterback. That just comes with the territory. So sooner or later, you know, they're either going to win or they're going to do something with Kyle Orton. But, you know, we're just having a little fun there, so don't be writing in. Nobody can say, no, they're not really Bronco serious fans. Support our quarterback. I know, we're just having fun. Come on, we got beat. We got beat badly. We got to have a little fun here. So speaking of fun, we got our award winner here we want to announce.
Oh, yeah, you had that great little contest going on Bronco Planet through our Facebook page, and want to announce the winner as Mark Johnson from our neighbor to the east, out in where? Prairie Village, Kansas.
Oh, yeah, get the prairie dogs out there in Kansas.
Tell him what he's won, Chad.
Well, he's won a hat, and not just any hat, signed by every tight end.
It looks like this, but not really.
That was at camp this year, and some that aren't even part of the Broncos organization, so there's no duplicate of that hat.
Right,
it's a one and only. Speaking of one and only, we have a shirt that we're going to be raffling off this year, so tune in to Bronco Planet on Facebook. We got a shirt signed by Spencer Larson and Britton Colquitt, who are our guests guests at Bronco Plant the last couple weeks, and we're so excited to tell you about our new guest coming on Thursday night. Tune in. J.D. Walton's going to talk a little bit about his rookie year last year. We all know the drama, but, you know, coming in from Texas, he had some great stories to tell. So, J.D. Walton, this Thursday, check it out.
We'll see you next week.